Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimaloe in Abuja. First and foremost, before I let you in on our program tonight and what we have a package for you, the House of Representatives says it is planning to hold a security summit following the worrying situation in Plateau State in respect of the insecurity situation there. The latest is that at least 30 people said have been killed in renewed violence in the North Central State. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, condemned the recurring attacks in the state in the strongest terms, and he says the lower chamber will take a strong position upon its resumption from the Christmas and New Year break next Tuesday, the 30th of January. He says that that will be a major focus for the lower chamber of the National Assembly. Tonight, I will let you in on what the plan of Bola Tinubu's government is all about, especially in the area of taxation. A lot of people have talked about in this country double taxation. They've talked about heavy taxation. They've talked about, in fact, a whole lot of stuff. What do you know as a citizen? What you need to know in terms of your taxes, what role you should be playing, and what role government should be playing. They say there are a lot of reforms in the taxing corridor in the nation. We'll be hearing more of that tonight. Plus, we'll go to Edo, and the Deputy Governor, Philip Shabu, will be joining me later on the program. But first and foremost, let's check out some of your political roundup stories.
Lagos State Governor Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu says the construction of the long-awaited 37-kilometer fourth mainland bridge will commence by the end of March or April this year. The governor said this in his address at the Lagos West Senatorial District Town Hall meeting. According to the governor, his administration has done extensive work on the bridge and work is going on to get real financing for the project.
We ensure that we compensate everybody that their property or their businesses will be disturbed by this new construction. But it's going to be along existing corridors.
The Supreme Court has dismissed the appeal of Mr. Tony Cole and the All Progressives Congress APC against the election of Mr. Siminalayi Fubara as Rivers State Governor for lacking in merit. Affirming Fubara as the duly elected governor of Rivers State, the court held that the appellant did not prove the allegations of non-compliance with the Electoral Act, among others. The Supreme Court also affirmed the election of Ahmed Aliyu as the governor of Sokoto State, dismissing the appeal of Saidu Umar of the People's Democratic Party. The court as well affirmed the election of Mr. Agbo Kefas as governor of Taraba State. Jubilation has greeted the victory of Governor Fubara at the Supreme Court. From within the premises of the Government House in Port Harcourt to the congregation of supporters of the PDP and Governor Fubara, excitement ran the air over the pronouncement of the Apex Court. The governor is equally excited for the outcome.
Rivers State will have a dream of making it a highly competitive state that will measure, if not up to Lagos, but close to Lagos.
The governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC in Rivers State, Mr. Tony Cole, has been reacting to the Supreme Court's judgment, affirming Mr. Siminalayi Fubara as the governor of Rivers State. Mr. Cole, in an interview in Abuja, says he believes in the rule of law, regardless of the outcome of the judgment, as he promised to collaborate with all individuals to move the state forward.
Congratulations to Governor Sim Fubara on his victory. I extend my hand of fellowship to the government and people of Rivers State for a brighter future.
Ondo State House of Assembly has screened and ratified Mr. Olaide Adelami as Deputy Governor of the state. At the plenary session presided over by the Speaker of the House, Honorable Olamide Oladiji, submitting the report of the screening committee, the Deputy Speaker, Abayomi Akimuto, notes that Dr. Adelami has been confirmed as the Deputy Governor of Ondo State. The Oyo State Governor, Mr. Seyi Makinde, says he remains committed to even development of every zone in the state through solid infrastructural provisions for economic development. Governor Makinde reiterated his commitment in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, during the commissioning of the dualized 8.2-kilometer Agodi Gate, Old Ife Road, Alakia Adigbayi Road. The road, which was commissioned with the support of the Osun State Governor, is one of the strategic roads leading to Ibadan Airport and expected to ease movement in that axis.
Southwest PDP are fully united. I will have a new national vice chairman.
so much, everyone. The Tinubu government plans big in the area of taxation, and it hopes to generate huge money or revenue through that. Tonight, we shall be speaking with the Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Mr. Zach Adedeji. He joins us live here in our studio. Thank you so much, Chairman FIRS, for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Shane, for inviting me.
They talk about the fact that you are the tax man. And there seems to be a lot of burden on you in terms of revenue, because the Minister of the Economy, Hope, and he says that the agenda of this government is that looking through taxation and reforming making a lot of reforms will help the government to generate a lot of revenue. But give us an understanding, holistically, in a 12 calendar month, what is the projection of this government in terms of revenue generation through the FIRS?
Thank you, Sean. Thank you very much. You quoted Honorable Minister while inaugurating the retreat, or declaring open the retreat on reimagining the tax administration in Nigeria, which is done by us yesterday. The expectation of federal government through MTEF is that we will have above 19 trillion from us in federal inland revenue to collect. And that is coming behind what, by God's grace, we've done last year, that we're able to collect above 12 trillion, which is above the set target of 10 trillion that the government gave us. So we exceed that target last year by essence of 2 trillion compared to what government asked us. And then, they say the reward of good work is more hard work. So government, in its wisdom based on the MTEF, have given the service the target of 19.4 trillion as target for the next
Is that realistic?
Well, it's very realistic.
12 to 19.
Yeah, it's very realistic, and that is why the essence of what we've done since yesterday and today with my team and colleagues, that we need to reimagine how do we want to do that. Because when you have that kind of goal, the first thing you need to check is your foundation and the structure through which you want to get that done. And that is why we have to refocus. What do we do as a service? And then just to re-emphasize that the service is not a revenue generating agency. We are a revenue collecting agency. We collect by our mandate. We assess, we collect and account for all money accruable to Federation, and we administer tax law. That is our duty. So for us to be able to do that, as Mr. President has said severally, that our aim is not to increase tax burden by increasing tax rate or tax type. That we are not going to tax the seed, we will only tax the fruit. And then if you are to do that, you must learn and put structure in place to water the tree. So if it's only fruit you want to tax, to water the tree. And that is what informed the restructuring that we are doing now from federal inland revenue. We are moving from functional or type of taxes categorization to customer-centric. And what that means is that we want to focus on our customer, which in this case is taxpayer. And we want to give them the service of a one-stop shop, that when they come, they solve all their taxes. And that is what led to the categorization that we are having effective February 1. We will move from the whole structure that we have, and we will move to the structure where you will have all categorization of taxes by threshold. So you have large tax offices, you have medium, and you have small. Large tax of these offices or group is defined by the threshold. When you have your turnover more than 5 billion, you belong to large tax, whether you are oil and gas, bank, or whatever. If your turnover in a year is more than 5 billion, you are large tax group.
The big boys.
Yes. If your own is between 1 billion and 5 billion, you are medium. And then anything less than 1 billion becomes small tax group. And why we have to do that is to give them the good experience that when they go to tax office, they solve all their problem. Today, you have VAT, you have withholding, you have stamp duty, you have all this one, and that gives a cost of compliance, most especially from our customer, taxpayer, too high, because they have to learn how to comply with this. It causes a lot of destruction into their business because they will have to come from audit, from VAT, from all the rest. But now, we say all type of taxes that you want to do, if you are large tax, go to one office. You do your VAT, you do your CIT, you do your withholding, you do all form of taxes. And the same way, if you are to be checked or audited, it is the same person that will have to come and check you. The same thing for medium, the same thing for small. What would this do for us? One, it will reduce the cost of compliance and destruction to the business. Don't forget, it is when they are prosper that we can tax them.
So you only tax the profit.
Yes, that is
so
it.
Profit of less than 1 billion are the small one, the small office.
Yeah.
Between 1 billion and 5 billion, the medium.
Yeah.
5 billion and above,
it's large.
The large. Are you going to set up the turnover of each of these investments? Are you going to set up offices, different offices for the small, medium, and large, or is this still going to be under the FRS?
No, it is FRS because today, the way we are structured today is by type of taxes. For example, you have VAT, or you can go to VAT offices. When you do that, what that means is that whether you are a small holder or medium or large, you go to the same place, and then when you have to do your withholding tax, you go to another office. You want to do CIT, you go to another office.
So as a company, for example, if we have Zach Adedeji Limited, and you are going to do your tax, you do it once and for all in 1 year.
No, not only in 1 year, in one place.
In one place.
Yes, all type of taxes that you pay or remit has to be done in one place.
Okay.
Unlike today that you have to go to too many places to get that done. So we are changing that system. And why? It's because we want to develop our expertise in those areas so that we can increase service delivery to our customer, which in this sense is taxpayer.
Can they now remit their taxes digitally?
No,
because
that is
part of what you announced is that you are modernizing and digitizing tax paying.
Honestly,
tax payment.
And honestly, till now, that is what they are doing. They are remitting this tax through digital method. They pay online through banks. They don't do it manually. But what we are changing, instead of going to many offices to do your tax filing, we are saying now that if your turnover is above 5 billion, you belong to large tax group. You go to only one place to do all your taxes.
Are you setting up different offices that people will go?
No,
For example, in Abuja now.
Yes.
Your office is I think is in...
It's in many places here.
Yeah, okay, you have different offices.
Yes.
So now, for those who are the large taxpayers, where would they go?
No, it is like this airline that you have. You see people with first class, you see people with upper class, medium class. It's the same airplane. But in that airplane, you see different
segments.
That is it. And exactly.
So you have expert dealing with different.
Exactly.
Is it possible also in your digitization policy to have companies with their dashboard to be able to see their tax profile, so that easily you can be able to monitor? Since now that you are trying to simplify and make life easier for customers.
Yes. No, it is very simple. Today, what happened? If you are, let's say, mobile, you have VAT matter, you go to VAT office. If you have stamp duty, you go to stamp duty office. You may have compliance and enforcement differently. So you have too many people going to you, or you go to too many people in filing or performing your civic responsibility. We are now saying that one is not helpful. One, it increases the cost of compliance. Two, it does not allow us to develop the core expertise that is needed within the service to be able to serve our customer, in this case, taxpayer. We are now changing that instead of being functional or type of taxes focus, we are moving to customer-centric focus. That let's do this categorization by customer. So when you come to a one-stop shop and you solve all your tax problems.
So in the UK, for example, and I'll make that example, I mean, you wouldn't see every agency is just collecting tax. You have one house where your federal tax collection will be. Is that what Nigeria is going to operate to?
By God's grace. But you know, we have to take it step by step. So the first thing is to integrate without consolidating. So we use technology to integrate our system first. So that is the first stage that we have to go to, that Federal Land Revenue integrate with custom integrate with names to get the name of the people, integrate with other data, we integrate with CAC. Those are the steps which we are taking now. We will not do fiscal collapse or integration now. We are only doing system integration, and that is the reason why categorization you see. For example, now, if I have a large tax payer and is in large tax group that goes there and it's one stop where you have all your data solved, that helps the data sharing, even with other agencies and the rest. For example, if I go to custom now, give me the top 20 importer. Definitely, those one will belong to large tax. It goes straight to large tax office, and you won't see anybody asking custom for another information. Because for you to do seamless integration with all these things, you need to standardize. Yeah. And then the way of standardize that brings uniformity into it, it helps you integrate so that we can have unified collection, which is the end goal, which is our vision. But it's not what we are doing immediate. We are only integrating through system.
In this integration, it will not be difficult for anybody, any company to run away from paying taxes.
No, it will be
hide or to such.
I will tell you, it will be very difficult. And like I said, we don't forget that we provide service to our taxpayer. We don't see them as criminal. We see them as our partner. So we are putting system in place that will drive voluntary compliance. So I don't see them as a veil or no. That is not the type. I just explained to you. They are the trees, and we are looking for their fruit. So the only thing we have to do is to water them, give them conducive environment,
so that we are working hard, Mr. Adedeji. Do they have incentive? For example, for those who are doing the hard work, is the FRS thinking of incentives for faithful taxpayers?
No, that the incentive, that is what we've done now. The incentive for faithful taxpayer. You see, if you see the way we've categorized them now, if you are a large taxpayer, you have special service that we are rendering to you. If you are medium, you have special service that we are rendering to you. In order to be able to incentivize them, that is why we have to categorize them. So we will tailor our service towards their need.
I mean, when we say we've seen some kind of improvement in government revenue under this administration, but this doesn't seem to benefit the ordinary Nigerian. It seems it has only created more spending opportunities for those in government.
I don't believe you, and I don't know how you determine that. For example, like I said, our responsibility is to assess, collect, and account for all these taxes. And if you look at Mr. President's budget, this is the first time in more than 10 years that we're actually reducing our fiscal deficit just as a result of expectation and hope that we have in tax collection. Just in few days ago, Mr. President approved the commencement and implementation of student loan. One of the major sources of income or sources of fund for this student loan is educational tax being paid by taxpayer. So I don't know where you will see that it will increase income and you don't see increased services. So now, for the first time in few years, we will have these student maintenance loan, student tuition loan that we want to give to all the students, to most of the students in our higher institution, and even for skill acquisition. So I don't see where you get that we increase. So as we are increasing our fiscal responsibility and fiscal discipline, you see the direct impact on the kind of services that we are providing. And if you move around in Abuja now, you see that it's becoming a construction site, most especially as far as road is concerned. So I don't know where you will see that it increases and you don't see the impact. We understand, and that is normal. That when you are in this kind, it's like you plane want to take off. It is not the same balancing that you do. This is a taking off time for us. We will soon balance now, where they will have everybody to lose their bet, relax, and continue. This is just taking up. And and you will be truthful that you will have seen that we really know what we are doing. We have plan. We understand the enormity of the pain of Nigeria. And we are working day and night, including led by Mr. President, to make sure that citizens actually feel the impact of good governance.
You are the chief tax collector of the nation. The president promised at the onset of this administration that he will not tax investments.
Yes.
But investors are still groaning. Some are leaving the country. What specific incentives is the administration offering investors?
Honestly, and that is why this kind of question is very important. So we use that to educate ourselves. So Mr. President is not just giving empty promises. When he said that I'm not going to tax investment, I'm not going to tax seed, that I'm not going to tax poverty, immediately he set up the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Reform and Tax Reform, Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform, which they've submitted their first preliminary work, and out of which we've used it to, if you look at it today, we've suspended VAT on diesel. Not only that, the executive order were signed by Mr. President to make life better for people. And we are waiting. Don't forget, we give them 12 months, out of which 6 months has already gone. They are coming up with comprehensive tax reform that will reduce the total tax we collect as a nation to 1 digit, from these multiple taxes to only 1 digit type of taxes that we want to focus on. So
the reduction from 200 to 9.
Yeah. And then we're on track to get that done. That one, I can tell you, Mr. President is committed to fulfilling those promises as he has always done.
I mean, you see what the Buhari government did. As soon as the Tinubu government came into office, and people will say, oh, these are policy somersault, and perhaps the president also signed 4 executive orders. And one will wonder, what exactly is going on? Because most agencies of government are currently under great pressure to generate IGR. Some of these agencies are not really set up as revenue generating agencies of government. You said that you want to be the leading government eye in tax collection, but they are putting enormous pressure on businesses. They're collecting licenses, permits, renewable fees, and all kind of levies on Nigeria.
Mr. Shehu, we should appreciate the Constitution of Nigeria. As much as we say this is Nigeria, you know, it is guided by law and constitutions. There are taxes that are meant to be collected by states, and we are under federalism. There are taxes that are meant to be collected by local government, and there are ones that belong to federal government. So the problem is that people model it up, that even what local government is doing, they say is taxes is federal government. What state is doing is federal that is federal government that is doing. So without trying to just look for blame or someone to blame, and this is one of the major reasons why you see Mr. President set up that committee, and it has liaised with NEC, with state governor, and they have seen positive response that will reduce such pressure drastically in coming days.
I know for the benefit of Nigerians, if in just one breath, in one statement, can you tell Nigerians what are the taxes that FRS collect?
Oh, it's very simple. It's by law. So the taxes we collect is corporate taxes. And then don't forget, federal land revenue, if you look at the mandates that I just read to you now, we assess, we collect, and we account for money for federation, not only for federal government. We collect VAT. VAT is not only for federal government. When you every other form, but by law, the taxes we collect as a federal government is majorly the corporate income taxes. When you see personal income taxes, these are done by the state. When you see all these licenses, permits, these are local government taxes. So we have several of them, which from the work of this committee, they are being consolidated to just 1 digit taxes that we want to do. And this is backed up by data, because if you look at the whole gamut of these taxes you are talking about, less than 8% represent the less than 8 type of taxes represent 80% of the total collection. So why wasting time for all those double taxation? The state governors, the local government, they are seeing reasons why all those things will go, and I'm very sure shortly that we will have good news. Consolidated number of taxes.
Yeah, that the state government at loggerheads, they took the federal government to court over the, how these taxes should be, we should take what and what. But I'll still push for the interest of the Nigerian citizen. Those who are paying what I describe as implicit taxes.
Yes.
They pay for security, education, health, refuse collection, maintenance of roads in some cases, and several others. These are things the government ought to have provided in the first place.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. And you will see that we are not running away from our responsibility. And that is, but in where I come from, they say when tree fall upon the tree, you take them one by one. And that is what government is doing. And I'm very hopeful and optimistic that very soon you will feel impact. We empathize with Nigeria. And which is what I gave you the example. When plane is about to take off, it's not a good time for anybody because it will shake this way. But the moment we get balancing, which I know very soon we will get to, people will begin to feel the real impact of governance.
But within the next, you said by February, that's when this regime of your policy reform will start.
Yes.
Give us a hint into the larger picture, the bigger picture, in terms of taxation under the Tinubu government. What is the bigger picture for President Tinubu?
No, the bigger picture for us is to change the mindset. And that is what I've said. That service, the relationship between taxpayer and the government is that of symbiotic. We are here not to just go and tax as the way people have put it. We are to produce conducive environment for them, which we've been doing. And that is what led to the setting up of the committee. That is what led to the restructuring that we are doing the service now to give them better service, advise them, and make sure that they prosper. Because it is in their prosperity that we will have our own share.
The orders that the president signed, you were quoted to have said that the president or the government does not want to tax poverty.
Yes.
And there is the lifting of tax on taxes like custom, 5% telecom tax, and those other things. But if there is one thing to make the average Nigerian who is watching tonight happy tonight and say, okay, this is what the Tinubu government is doing deliberately to alleviate their pains, what would that be?
And that is what we are saying. That is, for example, if you've looked at the economic plan that we've put in place, I just told you now that this is the first time in the last 10 years that you are having reduced budget deficits. This is the first time. Not only that, just 3 days ago, Mr. President announced to the commencement of student loan, which when you have people in school, when they can educate, because if you actually want to set people free, educate them. So now we are saying that money, resources will never be any reason why you will have any higher institution candidate out of school. And it is when they go there, they begin their life, the economic, they go and contribute their own portion to the economy of the country. And lastly, the one we've just done now, that I just told you now, that we are moving from tax unit that put complexity on taxpayer. We are removing it and we are giving them tailored service to filing and then doing their civic responsibility. So this is one of the good things that we're doing.
Yeah, averagely, you see a lot of Nigerians, they will be asking questions. Banks, they'll charge you for this, charge you for that. Even your telcos, they'll charge you for this, charge you for that. And there's a lot of people will be wondering, where are these taxes going to? You begin to ask, where are these? Is the government trying to also clamp down on the unnecessary levies that private service providers are putting on the average citizen for services?
No, honestly, and you will see most of the regulatory bodies that we have. You have consumer protection that looks into all these kind of charges. You see central bank overseeing the bank to make sure they don't charge the customer unnecessarily. You see the NCC on telco, making sure that what they are doing is in line with what they should do. But don't forget that these are private entities. That when you see government begin to dictate pricing and everything to them, they will say, government has come again. As much as we put the regulatory system in place, we must not be seen as the one intervening in the running of a private business that we have in the country.
Mr. Tax Collector, when Mr. Oyedele talked about area boys and how they will use them to collect, is that part of the plan? Are you hoping to see area boys to collect tax?
No. Possibly what he was trying to say is that we will reform the system. And then it is part of what I say when people say focus on informal sector. How do you collect taxes from informal sector? And I say the focus of government is not to go and collect money from informal sectors. The focus of government is how to bring formality to informal sector. And if I just give you a basic example, what do you call informal sector here? Shoemaker, tailoring and everything. But Louis Vuitton, what do they do? Are they not shoemaker? Gucci, what do they do? Are they not shoemaker? Because informality is not because of the work you do. It's just making sure that we have system under which you are being regulated. So the focus of government is not to go and tax informal sector. The focus of government is to bring formality to informal sector.
We're looking forward to that customer-centric approach, the modernization, the digitization, the pruning down of the burden on citizens. And we hope that next time we bring you back on the program, we'll be hearing more good news and you're getting more money for Nigeria. Thank you so much, Zach Adedeji, the Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service. Thank you so much indeed for your time.
Thank
you. I
wish
you the very best.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
We take a break, everyone. But when we return, Philip Shaibu, Deputy Governor of Edo State, will be joining me on the program. He's gotten his nomination form. What will he be doing with it? Is he guaranteed to get a ticket? Especially with his principal, Godwin Obaseki, in the saddle. We'll be right back, everyone. Join us again. Who succeeds Godwin Obaseki as the governor of Edo State? That's also, and that race has since actively begun, especially when INEC has come out to say this is the way to go. Well, the Edo State governorship election in September this year is really looking up. The state deputy governor, Mr. Philip Shaibu, is asking the leadership of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to allow him fly the party's flag. The PDP wants to win the election in September. The Edo State deputy governor, who was at the PDP headquarters to submit his expression of interest form, appeals to the PDP leadership not to hand over the future of the party to those he described as businessmen. And according to him, some PDP governorship aspirants in the state have already begun buying over some members ahead of the next party primaries next month. Comrade Philip Shaibu is my guest tonight on the program. He joins us live here in Abuja studio. Thank you so much indeed, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much.
You are a fighter. Comrade at heart.
Yes, comrade at heart.
So it's good to see you.
Thank you.
You've submitted your form now.
Yeah.
So the race has effectively begun.
Yeah.
How tough is it going to be?
Well, politics is always tough. This one would not be different, but the only thing that is different in this one is that we are about 11 of us, and we have not gotten a leader that can meet with us and prune the number down. So we are all going to the race. That is the difference.
I mean, I thought there were those who say that maybe you were going to the APC. Were they talking to you?
They also said I was going to SDP, YPP, ABGA, ADC. So they are all associating me with all the parties. That means I'll be the candidate for all parties, including APC.
Maybe if you don't get the ticket of the PDP, you might use other platforms. Maybe that is what it's looking like.
There's no maybe there. I am going to get the ticket of PDP. I'm very confident
What
about
gives you that confidence?
And because I'm the candidate to beat, and you can see it from all the attacks.
They're really attacking you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where are these attacks coming from?
You see, it's only a tree that has ripe fruit that they throw stone at. So I'm that tree that has ripe fruit, and that's why they're throwing stone at me. If you are not ripe, if it passed a tree by, a mango tree, there's no ripe mango on it. Nobody threw stone to it to plug it. So it's only a tree that has ripe mangoes. So I'm that tree that have ripe mangoes. So that's why everybody trees.
You call yourself homeboy.
100% homeboy.
What does that mean?
That means I'm one aspirant that the people can see, the people can feel, the people can touch. And I'm one aspirant that understand what the people need, and I know all that they are all yearning to have. I've lived with them, understand them, I understand their thinking, and I know what they want. You see, I'm not going to be a governor that will throw things at the people that they don't need. I live with them, I understand them, and I know what they need. So in terms of need assessment, I know what every zone needs for survival and for the growth of our state and for poverty to be making history in our state.
It looks to me that this race is beyond what we can see on the surface. There are a lot of background conversations. There are a lot of horse trading and politicking that is going on that the average person is not seeing. And those who stay up at night, like you politicians who have nocturnal meetings, understand the intricacies. But, I mean, do you have a plan B?
Yeah, my plan B is to politics, win the primaries, and win the general election.
You know the reason why I asked that question?
Yeah.
And you know yourself that the governor is the leader of the party.
Yeah.
And usually they dictate the manner in which things flow in the party.
Yeah.
In fact, the governors are usually the ones who dictate who gets the ticket of the party. And as far as the eye can see, it doesn't look like you and Mr. Obaseki are on the same page. I don't think he wants you to run.
Yeah, I can bet you that Mr. Obaseki, the governor of Edo State, my boss and my senior brother will support me because he has said it at the secretariat when we had our stakeholders meeting, that whoever wins, he will support. And the whoever that will win is nobody else than Philip Shaibu. So when I win, he will support me.
Well, Deputy Governor, what we are hearing is that he's supporting Asue.
He has denied supporting Asue even when we know he's supporting him. But that really not an issue for me. And because I am an own boy, and I understand the politics of Edo State. And as somebody that is experienced, and that is what is one of my selling points, experienced politician, experience in management of resources, experience as far as governance in public and private sector is concerned. I have an edge over him. He is coming with private sector experience. I'm coming with both private sector experience and public sector experience. I'm able to understand where private sector sense stop and where public sector sense starts. So I'm able to combine both. And I can see that this whole technocrat thing, some of these technocrats need to go for lessons on how to learn public administration. It's completely different from private administration. So experience that I'm bringing on board is not just political experience from where I started till now. I'm also bringing value to governance, and we'll be able to administratively govern for the betterment of our people. So I'm bringing on board character.
So you have the political experience above Asue, for example, and that's the master stroke for you.
Yeah, I don't think we should make Asue an issue because
if the governor is backing Asue, that's a big issue.
No, it's not an issue for me. Because why is it not an issue for me? I am an Edo candidate by the grace of God.
But the governor owns the structure of the party.
No. PDP owns the structure of the state. PDP. It's PDP that owns the structure of PDP in Edo State, not the governor.
But the governor, you do not have the delegates.
The delegate election will be on the 3rd of February. Nobody has the delegate now. We are going to be having the election on the 3rd of February. So it's after the 3rd of February that we'll know who owns the delegates.
The political structure leading up to a governorship election is simply, it's look complex, but it's simplified by the manner in which it goes. It's like a tree.
Yeah.
So the stem of it is those who hold onto it. And whatever you see as the leaf are the delegates, the people who are the supporters of the party that you see are like the flowers. But those who own the stem, which is the structure of the base of the party, they control things. And I mean, as you know, I mean, which it's something that is out there, that the Governor Obaseki, owns the stem, the structure of the party as the leader of the party. If he supports someone, it looks like that is how the party might go.
Yeah, let me tell you something. On the last election, for instance, I am from Edo North Senatorial District. And if you check the statistics of the results, Philip Shaibu from Edo North got more than 50% of the total votes for PDP in the last presidential election. So if you want to talk about structure now, that means Philip Shaibu has the structure of PDP. Because if we can deliver 55% of the total vote of PDP in the last presidential election from Edo North, where I come from, and the governor's senatorial district can only produce 13%. So it then means if I go by your analysis, that means I own the structure of the party in the state from that calculation. But I don't think that is the real issue, because this is an intra-party activity. And that's why I want to limit myself, because I know I'm going to win, and I don't want the governor to change his mind.
How do you
After winning, he will not say, from what I have said, he was not supporting. And so since he has made that pronouncement that whoever wins, he will support, I am sure winning. So I know the governor. That's why I'm confident that the governor will support me.
What strategy do you hope to use in winning?
Yeah, like I always say, revolutionary tactics are not disclosed in public.
So give us an understanding, what do you bring to the table?
Yeah.
You've been a deputy governor for 8 years, but beyond that, can the people of Edo State, can PDP, for example, trust you with the ticket, the flag of the party to fly it?
PDP is trusting me with the ticket, and I can assure you of that. And like what I'm bringing on the table is experience. Edo State cannot afford to have another experiment. And why I say so, that we need to develop our state. And you need a man like me that already understands the dynamics of the Edo politics and the dynamics of Edo economy and how we can quickly grow our economy. I am coming in from day one, Shehu, from the podium where I will be inaugurated. I am going to be announcing my secretary to the state government and swear him in on that same podium. And in my speech, I'm going to be announcing my commissioners with their portfolio. And the first assignment the SSG will be doing on that same podium after announcing is to sign already typed list and send to the House of Assembly. In 1 week, I will swear in my commissioner. And I'm going to be nominating my commissioner. If you are going to be my commissioner for works, I'm writing Shehu Akimboloye, commissioner for works, sending to the House of Assembly for them to screen you as commissioner of work designate. And why am I doing that? As I speak to you, Shehu, I already have my plans. I'm going to be constructing a rail line in Edo State, both intercity and the one connecting, and the state line, which will connect 3 senatorial districts. I'm going to be building bridges. And these bridges I'm going to build, not just physical bridges alone, political bridges. But the physical bridges are the ones that will help to grow our economy. Don't forget Edo, when you check the location of Edo in the map, that itself an incentive for economic growth. And that means ease of movement of goods and services is paramount. I'm going to be constructing, for instance, a bridge from 3rd to Ramat Park. If you are going to Abo, it stops you after Bende Breweries. If you are going to Edo North, you have no business with Ramat Park. It takes you out of there. I'm going to be constructing bridge in opposite junction, for instance. Why? Because we need to stop that consistent accident in opposite junction, just like in Jetu junction, where Dangote and Boa trucks are always a problem in that axis. And so we have to grow our economy to the extent that Edo will now be food basket of the nation, just like Benue is.
Before you get into that, you said you're building bridges.
Yeah.
You're building, going to be building rail lines.
Yeah.
I mean, Lagos, for example, we know how many years it took Lagos to be able to build one. These are heavy infrastructure projects that would be demanding a lot of funding. Where do you hope to get this funding within, for example, a 4-year term in office?
For instance, the orange line, which we connect Ikpoboha and Oredo and Ego, for instance, we take a minimum of 3.5 years to build. And we are going to be raise this money, not just through our internally generated fund. We are going to get private, so that's why the private sense will be activated. We are going to get private firm to come and build for us. And we are going to be concessioning this facility. They will build, people will pay for it. Even the bridges we are going to build and some roads, especially from the old road, we are going to toll them. And so we are going to get the private, when we say we have private sector experience, the private sector experience that will be activating is getting private sector to bring their money, not getting private, not government putting public money in private sector business. That is not the kind of private sector economy I'm going to drive. I'm going to drive a private sector economy where the money that is, so there are some of these fair and some of the multinationals, there are money that are there that you can access, and you can get these people to even invest in your state, run a concession, and within 10 or 15 years, they get money. We're definitely going to borrow some money for infrastructural development, not for recurrent expenditure.
Have you done the math? Have you done the figures? How much this will cost, how much revenue it can generate, and the impact on the average citizen, because you do not want to do infrastructure that will overburden the people of your state.
Yeah, the road infrastructure will open up the economy. For instance, from Oredo till I get to Jetu, the federal road, all the businesses on the sidelines, they are all folded up. When we build those rail lines and build these routes, because I'm going to collaborate with the federal government, build these routes, the economic of
I see that you've drawn a map which you probably might want to speak to.
Yes, the economy of the area will open. For instance, this report, I set up a committee. This is the first of the report and that I have gotten. This one was just given to me day first today by the team I set up. This one is the bridge from 3rd to Ramat Park. This is...
Have they costed
the costing is on now. Okay. This is just the first feasibility document that they just released. And I just released it yesterday. The costing is already on. The costing of the rail line is already on. And the areas where we are going to get money is already being sorted. And why we are doing this and why we are doing all this is from my experience in government. When you get there, the first 1 year in government is difficult if you don't start now to do anything. Because Edo State, don't forget, Edo State have midterm election. So you only have 12 months after you're swearing in to actually work. Because the next year, you are already preparing for federal elections. And as those elections are going, you are preparing for state election. So you need somebody that already understands that system to be able to come in and hit the ground running. And that is why people ask me, you want to get your commissioner, your executive council set up in 1 week? Yeah, because I need to set it up to be able to advertise this project. Yeah. In my first 100 days in office, this project we should hit ground running.
Let me pose this to you, and this might not be in the area of road construction or infrastructure development, but this is actually going to be in cultural development, because Edo State has one of the richest in the world in terms of culture heritage. And those who, I mean, I don't know if you have had opportunity to visit any of the royal houses in the UK, whether Windsor Castle or wherever. They've monetized and they've turned those places into tourist attraction, tourist centers. And there are those who hear and have little understanding of the Benin Kingdom. and they will be wondering what it looks like, what they have. They're just thinking in their head. And those who think that tourism will thrive in Benin, in Edo State, for example, are you thinking in that direction?
Yeah, our moats are heritage, and we can make money from those moats. Our Igu Street is one of those areas where we can really make money, turn the economy around. Igwe Festival is one of them. We have a lot of this festival. Auchi Day just took place recently. Uzari Day, Ere Day is there. Ososo, Igara. There are a lot of festivals that we can convert and boost our tourism.
Is it part of your plan?
It's part of the plan, of course. I'm going to be governing with the traditional institution because for me to be able to drive economic growth and also secure Edo State, I cannot do it without partnership with the traditional institution, because the first point of call is in your small house, there is a traditional ruler that is in charge of that domain. There's a villager that is in charge of that domain. So we need to go back to what it used to be. And that is the only way we can secure our state and also be able to carry the people, because what is critical is to get the buy-in of citizens into your plan. And when you get the buy-in of citizens, Nigerian people are very good followers when they understand your policy and they can read and trust what you are telling them.
The people of Edo State tonight, listening to you, will say you have hand-in-hand worked with Governor Godwin Obaseki. And when you're now asking that you want to run the state as the chief executive, the question they will be asking you, how can they trust you with the resources of the state and the destiny of the people of that state, considering what the Godwin Obaseki-led administration has delivered?
Yeah, we both deliver on those on the mandate that we are presently running that will be ending by November.
Would you say that's been successful?
Yeah, to be successful, of course.
Based on the priorities, the promises made, and that those who are groaning and asking questions about the promises that have not been fulfilled, and you're getting out of office.
Yeah, we've been successful in some field, and government is continuous, and that is why I want to continue in that trajectory.
But in those areas, they have failed woefully.
No,
How would you describe it? What would you be telling the people? You hand in hand with your principal, raising your hand, you were promising the people, and now 8 years is getting out, and you have not been able to deliver on those, and you're asking them to trust you again. How would they be able to do that?
Yeah, Sheon, I listened to, I think, Asfa Ighodaro denying the governor recently, and I will not deny the governor. The governor is my boss and also my senior brother. I call him my boss and senior brother, and he is governor and deputy, and we are work together. You understand? Whereas Aswa is denying him, Aswa is his business partner. You understand? So all of us, Aswa and I, we are close to the governor, and we are governor's friends also. So for me, I won't deny him. He remains my boss and my senior brother.
But you accept the failure too.
And we are, of course, I'm part of this government. And why am I contesting? I'm contesting I've seen the gaps. I've seen the gaps from 2016 to where we are today. For instance, when you check our economic outlook, we've done some progress. When we came up on board 2016, our economic outlook was between 1.2 to 2 trillion naira. Today it's about 2.6 trillion naira. And when I look at the economic growth rate, when we came on board in 2016, it was about 3.1, 3.2. But today there's significant increase to about 5.6%. You understand? And when you check our GDP per capita, from what it was about 1,200 to 1,003 in 2016, we've been able to grow the economy to the level that we now have about 2,038 GDP per capita. So when you look at the economic aspect of it, we've been able to grow it. But what I'm bringing on board is that those statistics should reflect on the faces of our people. And that is what I'm bringing on board.
We need to wrap up now quickly. You complained when you're collecting the form that some people are already buying the delegates. Who are these people?
Yeah, it's not just buying delegates. Some of them just they give 200 people, senior special assistants. As I'm speaking to you now, when you check your online thing, there are about 200 of them that will just be nasty about Philip Shaibu. Just be nasty. They are paid with taxpayers' money to do that. You understand? So in code, some elders, not the young people are with me, some elders are also in that pay line. And that's why even when they cannot win their unit, they are adopting people on their own without party structure.
We need to close now, and I have just 10 seconds to ask this question. Considering the relationship between you and Godwin Obaseki that went sour, can politically the people trust you?
Yeah, the people can trust me. My supporter is organic. It's not procured. And look at my forms. My forms were bought by my former colleagues, contribution from people, both the expression of interest form and the nomination form. And I've been running this campaign based on organic support from the people, especially the young ones. They are all there. They are all there on my side at all time. And I also want to let you know, our diaspora, the Boston group, the European group, the New York group, they are also contributing to making sure that this campaign works because they want to come back.
We are totally out of time, Deputy Governor. Thank you so much indeed. Time is not on our side. Deputy Governor of Edo State and governorship aspirant of the PDP, Comrade Philip Shaibu. Thank you so much indeed for your time.
Thank you for having me.
That's our show for tonight. Many thanks for watching. Bye-bye, everyone.